Hello everyone, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So today, as you guys can see from the title, we are doing Pan those eyeshadows. I'm pretty sure this is update number 6. I hope I'm correct. Hopefully 1 month I will get it right. So today I'm going to share with you guys the 5 shadows that I have been working on. It has been interesting to say the least with these 5 shadows. So I'm here to update you guys on it. And I do have at least one change in my rules. So I will explain that to you guys in a second. But before I do, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of Project Pan. If that is something that interests you, subscribe, join us. And now without further ado, let's get on with the update. Now before I get into the actual shadows, I have one rule that I do want to change. Now that I've been doing this now for 6 months, I have come to realize that there's one rule that I do want to tweak. I'm not taking it completely away, but I do need to tweak it for my own sanity. That is my 30 use rule. I have realized that when it comes to my eyeshadow, the majority, if not up until this point, I have been able to hit pan on an eyeshadow up to 20 uses. This past month I had one eyeshadow that I knew I was not going to hit pan on, and it was such a struggle to use up to 30 uses, and I told myself, why am I torturing myself? This is not the whole reason for me to be doing this, and if something doesn't work for me, change it. So that's what I'm doing today. Going forward, my rule of 30 uses, I'm going to change it to 20 uses. I think that's more reasonable for me. I think that if I don't hit pan by 20 uses, I'm not going to hit pan. Because again, I evaluated how many times I've used shadows to hit pan, and the most have been up to 20 uses. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. My other rules are staying the same. It'll be 5 shadows. Out of the 5 shadows that are going to come, 4 of them will be out of palettes. 1 will still be a single that I will generate. It'll be 20 uses. If I do not hit pan after 20 uses, I am allowed to roll that out or continue to use it until I hit pan. It is up to me. So that is my sweet little change there. I had to do that, you guys, and I'll tell you which shadow made me decide that, because I just couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it anymore. So we're here to update you guys. Obviously, I will start out with the actual color story that we had this past month, so I'm going to put that up on the screen for you guys. Now that you guys have seen the color story, let's get on with the actual individual shadows. So let's start out with the one that is on the eyeballs. I'm going to show you close-ups of everything, of course, like I've always had. So we're going to start out with the Lucid Dream eyeshadow. This is Her Mannerism Lucid Dream eyeshadows. So as you guys can see from the close-up, we were basically brand new with this eyeshadow. We really didn't use it too much. I think I only used it once or twice in its lifetime. So not much use out of it. And now when you see it, still not that much use out of it. It has a little bit of a dent in there, but it's not that big of a dent. I've only used this eyeshadow 3 times, one of them being today. Here's the issue with this one. It's a cool tone eyeshadow, and right now I'm into my warm tones now that I'm starting to get some sort of tan going on. So I'm into my warm tone eyeshadows, and this was going to be a little bit harder for me to hit pan on. Not so much the formula, it's me to try to get use out of it. I still haven't finagled how to incorporate this or what shadows to mix it with to make it work for me, solely because I've been working on the other eyeshadows that are in this project pan. So this one I've only used 3 times, and I was already dreading it the whole month to use it, honestly, because it is a cool tone. But now that we have gone through a whole month, now this one will be moved up to the front of the line. So in the month of June, this shadow will be used up to the 20 uses or pan, whichever one comes first. So this one has been my least used one, and that is 3 times. Now let's move on to the next one that I didn't hit pan, but I did hit the 30 uses and made me change the actual rule. That is this Smashbox Full Exposure. This is that cool tone, brownish, almost grayish black type of shadow. So as you guys can see from the previous update, we did have a dip. I had 15 uses, if I recall, on that eyeshadow, so I needed to use it 15 more times. And as you guys can see from the close-up now, I actually have a really nice dip in the shadow, but it's still no actual or visible actual pan in this sucker. Now I knew I wasn't going to hit pan. I did use this 30 times, you guys, but this is what shadow made me change that whole rule. This I dreaded. I dreaded not so much the formula. I think that the formula on this palette is still amazing. It is so soft and silky. It's really, really good. But that shadow, even in a normal palette, I probably wouldn't even pan it. This is as much progress as you would probably see on an eyeshadow of this shade. Mainly because it is the summertime. Now in the wintertime, that may have changed for me because I do gravitate towards cooler tones. But right now, I just don't care for that shadow. It was a struggle struggle. I mean, like forcing myself to use this shadow, and that's not how I like to pan. I don't like to hate pan. Not that I hated this shadow, but it was getting to that point. So I decided to change that rule because I think 30 times if I don't like a shadow or it doesn't go with what I like to wear for that season, it's gonna be a dreaded mess for me. So I did use it 30 times. I am going to be rolling this out. I am not even going to try to hit pan on it. It's really a beautiful formula, don't get me wrong, but on a normal day I wouldn't even bother to hit pan on that. That's not one shadow that I would actually hit pan on. That would probably be one of those lingering shadows in a palette that has been panned that you really didn't get much use out of it. You just used it here and there. That's what that shadow would be like for me. Now let's move on to this palette. This is the Fruit Sorbet by Violet Voss. This is the lime green shade. So we did have a dip in our last update. So I did have a nice dip in there. I underestimated the sizes of these eyeshadows because they're pretty darn deep. I am up to 12 uses on this eyeshadow, and if you guys can see, I have a very significant dip in this eyeshadow. I know that in the next few uses I will hit pan on this one, but you guys, it has been a struggle with this one. Not because I don't like the color, the formula, or anything, but I really did think I would hit pan quicker on this one, but it's not. So I'm up to 12 uses on it. I've been trying to incorporate it in many different looks. I was going to use it today, but I decided not to. This is kind of like that thick formula, so a little bit goes a long way. You're getting a lot of pigmentation. Even me clearing that up, look, I still have some on my fingers. So it is a nice eyeshadow. It's just I underestimated it. This sucker came through left field and tricked me thinking I was going to hit pan rather quickly with this one, but I did not, and I still have not. So I still have a good 8 more uses to hit pan or to roll it out. So this is also going to stay in this project pan. Now let's move on to the next palette that was in here. That is the Profusion, what is this? The Festival palette. So here it is right here. When we rolled this in, I had only used that shadow if only one time. There was no visible progress on that eyeshadow. And now when you see that eyeshadow, you guys, I actually have hit pan. When I started to use this eyeshadow, I noticed that the actual formula was very crumbly, so I knew that I would hit pan rather quickly. I also had a hunch because these eyeshadow pans looked very shallow. So I kind of took a break on the blue shade that I'm wearing now and this green shade to concentrate more on this one because I knew I would hit pan faster on this one, and sure enough, this one I ended up using 6 times, you guys, 6 times, and that was the end of it. I actually have a very, very significant pan on that sucker. Now, I will tell you, now that I've used this eyeshadow palette, this is the only Profusion palette that I have, I am not too fond of some of these shimmery shades like this. This was, as much as it was easy to hit pan on it, it was very difficult to work with because there was so much fallout and it was so crumbly that I really had to be careful with it or use a tacky, wet, creamy type of base to adhere it to my eyes. Otherwise, I would have like all these flexes under my eyes. It was not too much fun to use. I would use it as an inner corner highlight, and I found that to be the best way. The color was pretty, and I do like the color story of this palette, but now panning this palette and working with it, I don't think I'll buy another Profusion palette. I just am not a fan of it, and I'd rather pan other eyeshadows that I really enjoy versus having more of these and knowing that I'm not 100% a fan of the actual shadows. Now, I gravitate more towards the shimmer shades, so that's where it makes or breaks it for me most of the time, and I could tell that some, not all of these shimmer shades are also going to be that type of formula. It's a shame because this was a pretty color. It was like a gold with brown green to it. Is actually really, really pretty. And I was able to manipulate it and change it and actually work with the other shadows in this project pan. I put it on with this green one and it really gave it this nice gold greenish hue to it. It was very, very pretty. So I did hit pan after 6 uses, so I will also be rolling this one out as well. So that is 2 out of 5 palettes that will be rolled out. The last one that I have is my single. This was the second round with the single. This is by Prestige Hocus Pocus. I started out with it being brand new, and then with the last update, you saw that I had a nice dip on it. So I was working with this one, and now you guys can clearly see that I have a very, very nice dip in this sucker with a beautiful shiny pen. Yes, I hit pan on this one. I gotta tell you, out of all the shadows in this round, this one has been by far my favorite because I was able to manipulate this so much. This is like that shifting type of eyeshadow, and if I paired it with mauve shades, it just looks so pretty. I did a video and I had a lot of requests on doing that eyeshadow look, and honestly it was 3 things I used on my eyes. It was a burgundy shade all on my crease and my outer V. Then I used a pink cream shadow under this and then put this on top. And it just gave it this beautiful duochrome type of shifting look. It was so pretty. I actually, for the first time since I started this project pan, was panning an actual eye look due to this eyeshadow. I just liked it so much that I just kept going over and over and over with it. And I finally and eventually hit pan on it. This one I was dreading. This one I thought I wasn't going to enjoy as much because it looked gray in the pan, but once I started to use it and manipulate it, it was so much fun to use. So I have officially hit pan on this one. It was a really nice formula too. I think it's a really good formula. So now I get to roll in the third eyeshadow, and it will be a single as well. And I forgot to mention that I did end up using this a total of 12 times. All right, you guys, so now we're gonna roll in 2 eyeshadow palettes and then a third one will be the single. So let's see what brand we will be rolling in. Fiona Styles and I should say, Mega Forever. All right, so we're gonna pull out those 2 palettes. Let me just pull up the single so then that way we can do that one as well. So for the single pan, we will be doing L'Oreal. Oh, I have the perfect one. Yes! I was hoping for this one because I have the perfect single eyeshadow I've been dying to use. All right, you guys. So I shall return with the 3 eyeshadows. All right, that took a hot minute. All right, so for my single, I told you guys I did have an actual single that I wanted to use, and that is this one by L'Oreal. So this is the L'Oreal Color Rouge eyeshadow in Matte It Up. So this is what it looks like right here, and again, 20 uses or to hit pan on it. This is a beautiful shadow right now for this time of year when it's summer, and I wanted to use it because this is kind of like a cream to powder type of shadow, and I don't want it to dry up. If it will dry up, I don't know. So I've been crossing my fingers that I roll a L'Oreal eyeshadow in to put this one in. So this will be my actual single that I will be going to. Now for Fiona Styles. Fiona Styles, I do have 1 palette, but there's quads that I also own from her. There's only 1 palette and quads. So I actually went with one of the quads, and some of you guys might think that it's cheating because it's not a palette, but there is 4 shadows in here, and this is what it looks like. And you guys, I could not help myself. Like, look, this is perfect for summer. This will be perfect. So I, as usual, go across. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna put 4 eyeshadows in my pretty random, and we will see which shadow we're gonna end up getting. 1. So it's going to end up being this one right here. So again, 20 uses or actually hit pan. I've never hit pan on any of these eyeshadows, so we're gonna see how that one goes. And it actually might go very well with these. Look at this. I needed some warm tones in my life, you guys. I was getting tired of these cool tones. I'm over it. All I've been getting is cool tones this whole entire project pan. So for the third palette, or the third one that I can roll in, was Makeup Forever. So I decided to go with this Makeup Forever Lustrous eyeshadow. There's 12 pans in here. I was actually going to depot this, but I never got a chance to. So here, it's upside down. So we go here. So we're gonna go across, and as you guys know, I do not pan black. So if black comes up, I will not be panning that one. I don't do black eyeshadows because that would be torture. So again, there's 12 eyeshadows. Let's randomize. And we got number 11, which is this shadow right over here. This purple ME840, I guess. That's the one. Oh my God. So let me just quickly swatch right here all the shadows. So there you guys have it. That is the L'Oreal Fiona Styles Makeup Forever, my Violet Voss, and her Mannerisms. That's actually a very interesting color story. This is the most color I've gotten so far, besides a bunch of brown. So I'm very, very excited about this. So I'm pretty sure you guys have seen from January all up until this point of the eyeshadows that I'm currently panning. I'm so excited, you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this project pan as much as myself. So crossing fingers that I can hit pan or get my uses out of this. I know that going forward, the next 3-4 months are gonna be a little bit difficult for me just because it is summertime and I tend to kind of do a 2-look eyeshadow, cream eyeshadow, something in the crease, and I call it a day. So now that I am committed to actual eyeshadows to use, we'll see how well I do with these eyeshadows. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put more videos right over here for your enjoyment. Until then, bye guys.